the tea. Let's talk about life, mental health, mom life. Blessing.
Make sure you pay attention to the legal disclaimer because everything you see here has been reported from WITN News, pictures, and content. So what's going on in Kinston, North Carolina? Because I think everyone has gone insane. Let's get into it. So guys, what's good? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Nika. So today it is time for another Tea Talk, aka Nika's News. So today we're going to talk about what's going on in Kinston. I have been seeing a lot of news, a lot of reports on WITN News talking about Kinston, North Carolina. Now I have 3 different situations I'm going to talk about today when it comes to embezzlement, fraud, pretty much scamming the elderly, stealing from your job. When it comes to any of that, falsifying documentation. Like, I understand we all are struggling out here in the world, but when you put yourself in a situation like that where you're going to jail and you pretty much losing all you stole, you have to pay that money back, and you put yourself in a worse position because when you go to jail or prison, you get out, you can't find no job because they're going to see this on your record. But anyway, guys, enough talking. I'm going to go ahead and get into the first case. So her name is Hildares Parker-Greene. She is from Kinston, North Carolina. So she is a 45-year-old CNA. And I'll make sure I get everything right. But she was pretty much working, I guess, at a nursing home or something. Or she was pretty much just working with elderly. And she was accused of stealing her patient's debit card. And she was charging up to $2,200 worth of things on their credit card. But she attempted to purchase $6,000 worth of stuff. So now she is now facing 9 counts of identity theft, 11 counts of attempted obtaining property by false pretenses, 9 counts of obtaining property by false pretenses. So it's showing 2, 11, and 9 counts. And 1 count of exploiting a elderly or disabled adult. She was taken into custody actually 3 days ago, January the 14th of 26. And she is now held in the Lenoir County jail under a $50,000 bond. Now that's crazy. That is crazy. So she actually, making sure I tell you the right information here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for her, because pretty much you did this, you stole a little bit of stuff, and you're facing a lot of time. You know what I mean? You don't even know what she's going to be actually facing when they convict her. But this is what the charges are pending against her. Attempted to steal at least $6,000, but you was able to steal $2,200 off of somebody's debit card. So, I mean, paying bills or whatever. You really didn't steal that much, but now you're going to be having a whole criminal record behind your name. So, that really sucks. But anyway, guys, I'm going to just show you this little tiny clip here from WITN, just telling you what was reported on the news. Take a look at that.
Kinston police say a certified nursing assistant is accused of using her patient's debit card information and spending thousands of dollars. Back in November 2024, officers were called to Signature Healthcare for a reported case of fraud. A preliminary investigation determined that Hildares Parker-Greene obtained debit card information belonging to a patient and used it to make unauthorized purchases. Warrants say Parker-Greene spent at least $2,200 using the debit card information and attempted to spend more than $6,000. Investigators got warrants to arrest Parker-Greene last year on identity theft, exploitation of an elderly or disabled adult, and other charges. Parker-Greene was arrested yesterday and taken to the Lenoir County jail under a $50,000 bond. A full list of charges is on WITN.com.
All right, guys, so the next one I'm going to talk about is in regards to someone named Francine Super. She was 64 years old from the Kinston, North Carolina area as well. She was actually sentenced January the 14th of 26. So the same exact day, 3 days ago. Crazy. So now, if you've ever heard of Life Touch LLC is actually a company supposed to help people with like drug testing, people who substance abuse, stuff like that. They're supposed to be helping you. So now, this particular lady, she was actually the office manager for a treatment provider center connected to Life Touch. And she was actually found guilty for a healthcare fraud conspiracy. And what that means is she was actually doing fraudulent billing and kickbacks. Kickbacks is when you're actually trying to give something to get something. So she was actually putting down or documenting down that she was giving these patients gift cards so that they would actually come to their appointments. But instead of her doing that, she wasn't giving them anything. She was actually making gift cards, purchasing gift cards for maybe herself or whoever was working with her, and they were pocketing this stuff, but nobody was getting anything. But she was documenting down that that's what she was doing. But kickbacks, however you do it, is illegal anyway, because as a provider or anybody, you're not supposed to be giving people things so you could get something back. That's not how it works. So of course that was illegal anyway. But yet again, she actually stole $15 million in Medicaid funding. Fraudulent doing this documentation. And she was doing it for over 4 years. 4 years of doing this, and she didn't get caught. So I guess she thought she could keep on doing it. So that's crazy, because now she has scammed over $15 million. And she actually owes the IRS $373,810 back to the IRS. She was actually sentenced 6 years in prison. And the crazy thing is both of these women that I just talked about, they are African Americans who just set themselves up for the kill. So, I mean, now I'm going to say something after I go ahead and report the last person, but I'm going to kind of tell you a little spill on this. And it's just like, I'm going to just give you some inside tea on people like me. You know, I know we all struggling, but in this day and time, things is getting real. Things is getting real. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and let you show. I'm going to show you the WITN News report on this as well. Take a look at this.
Woman is heading to federal prison in order to pay back $15 million in a Medicaid fraud scheme. Francine Super was sentenced to 6 years after her guilty plea in the healthcare fraud conspiracy last summer. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Super was an office manager for LifeTouch LLC. LifeTouch is a Kinston-based company. In June, the Department of Justice named that company and First Choice Healthcare Services in a $14.6 billion national fraud takedown. Along with others, the U.S. Attorney's Office says court documents show that Kiki Johnson and Super used Medicaid reimbursement funds to purchase more than $1 million in gift cards. Court documents say over 4 years, Johnson and Super, along with other employees and agents, gave LifeTouch patients gift cards based on the number of days per week they received treatment. The two also got kickbacks from First Choice. Neither woman reported this as income or tax returns, according to court documents. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Johnson, the LifeTouch LLC's compliance director, and Super admitted to being part of the scheme that also involved tax violations. Johnson faces up to 11 years when she's sentenced.
All right, so the last one is actually pretty simple. This is actually dealing with they said she was 49 years old. Her name is Jessica Spruill. She actually is from Dudley, North Carolina, but she worked in Kinston at a Fuhrer warehouse. But if you Google it, it's actually called Suco now, SUNOCO, Suco Fuhrer warehouse now. But she was actually arrested because she was seen on surveillance camera stealing $2,289.01 from her job. She pretty much just pocketed that money and I guess walked on out, but she was caught doing that. So she was actually arrested. This is a pretty straightforward case, but this recently happened. I believe this took place sometime in December. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just show you this little clip that I found as well on WITN News as well. So just take a look at this.
Woman has been charged following a theft investigation at a local business. According to the Lenoir County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to 1101 West Newbern Road on December 2nd after a report of missing money. Upon reviewing surveillance video, deputies determined that 49-year-old Jessica Spruill, an employee at Fuel Warehouse, had unlawfully removed $2,289 from a bag of money. Spruill was charged with felony larceny by an employee and felony obtaining property by false pretenses. She was issued a $6,000 unsecured bond.
So pretty much, guys, I just gave you 3 little short, simple cases, but they're not as simple as you would say, because these people have messed up their life. They have jeopardized their career, their integrity, their honesty, and especially when you're supposed to be helping the community and helping your elderly members, and here you are stealing from them. Now, I do understand from a human, perspective, from a broke perspective, that we are struggling. Us as Black African American women, or any woman, you don't even have to be African American, anybody. I know we're struggling. People are really trying to make ends meet. But for you to go out and do things this way, and for the office manager to have been doing this for 4 years, to steal over $15 million in Medicaid funding, that is crazy. So she's definitely, and they said 6 years, and that's actually not that long, 6 years. But I mean, she didn't kill nobody, so I guess that's how they work it out. But 6 years, she's gonna get out and be broke, have no job, have to be on parole, probation, and all that other stuff, and drug testing, and I mean, all kinds of stuff, and you probably can't get no another job, and you definitely can't be no office manager working with money or anything. Like, she's gonna be so limited to jobs. And then, pretty much that's the healthcare field. She's gonna be so limited in what she could do. Like, even McDonald's ain't paying you no money these days. You know what I mean? They probably wouldn't even hire her because they scared their little coin's gonna be gone. So she just messed up herself. And in that CNA, you already 40-something years old as a CNA, and you pretty much risk your life and career over $2,200, which is absolutely tax money. I mean, so little. I mean, what were you paying? Like, were you trying to get gas? I mean, did you pay off a bill? Maybe your light bill? I mean, what, you gonna buy some shoes, some clothes? I mean, what did you do with that money? I don't, that would not be enough to risk my life. And she attempted to steal $6,000. So I don't know if the car was declined and they realized, okay, this is some unauthorized charges and we got to figure out what's going on. I mean, you attempted to steal it, but you stole $2,200, but you attempted to steal $6,000. So I don't know. But that's crazy. And then for the last one that I talked about, Miss Jessica, I guess that was just a one-time thing. She saw the money, was like, oh, I really need it right now. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this $2,289 and this 1 cent, and I'm going to just pocket this money and go on and live my life. Like, I mean, I don't know. And then it's kind of like, put myself in their shoes. I really do know what it feels like to be to your last dollar, to be broke, no money, nothing. But you definitely don't want to do it that way, because like I say, and this stuff come back at you, you just like, oh my God. And I'm not saying I'm almighty and Heidi, nothing like that. But it's just like, ooh, baby. And it's just crazy that I don't know if they're putting chemicals in the air in Kinston or what, because why everybody in Kinston? Now, there's a lot more on the news reported about Kinston, but I can't sit here and report all this to you. Nor do I want to, but it's a lot of cases that I saw in Kinston right now of people being charged with embezzlement, fraud, conspiracies, falsifying documentation and stuff like that. Now, I mean, there's always ways to get around things, but not actually falsifying it. Like, you don't have to tell your whole life story to get assistance. Because I know when it comes to social services, when it comes to trying to get help from the government, they want to know your whole life story. They want to know your ins and your outs. They want to know when the last time you wiped your ass. I mean, they want to know everything about everything. So sometimes you got to tell them what you want them to know, and sometimes you got to leave stuff out. But that don't mean I'm a falsified document. Now, I mean, I have probably kept something off of a document, or I whited something out because I don't want you to see this piece of information. But to like actually submit documentation that was not valid in no way. It was not valid in no way, no shape or form. But like I say, sometimes you got to leave stuff out. You don't want to tell them all your life story. But a lot of times you can't get no help, and you begging and telling them, I'm homeless, I'm on the street, I'm this and I'm that. Even when it comes to gas vouchers, a lot of places around here won't even give you assistance with gas vouchers unless you show, okay, I'm working, or I live this far, or I have kids, I got 3 kids, and my youngest is 2 years old. I mean, you literally probably have to have kids to get help, and I do feel like that's probably why I get so much help, is because I have kids. But if I didn't have these kids, I'll be on the street, just like a lot of these people out here struggling, broke, can't make it, and I'm just like, I'm grateful when it comes to that, because thank God for the kids because I get a little bit of help. We ain't homeless, but at the same time, if I didn't have them, I would be SOL. And I can't sit here and say I wouldn't have thought, oh, let me try what they're doing. I ain't trying that, but I'm just saying, like, when you put yourself in their shoes and you really get into the position they're in, you'd be like, well, why do they do this? Maybe I know why. Maybe this, it's hard to say. But I really do hope these women understand the situation they now have put themselves in. And I do hope they get out and figure things out, because this is crazy that these 3 women now have a criminal record and all pretty much more than likely are going to be found guilty in the court of law for stealing this money. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. This was straight, simple, straight to the point. Go ahead and check out your local news if you want to know more about Kinston location. But as we all say, Kinston, what's going on? What you guys got going on over there? What is in the air? Because I need to know. Okay? So I don't drive through there. Okay? Okay. But guys, I want to thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you go ahead and watch all my content. Make sure you go on over to Nika Bowers as well and check out that content. But guys, take it easy and on. It's been real.